Okay, so for the benefits of those that are just joining me, what we're starting from tonight is just to show us how to add the Fib levels, more Fib levels on our Fibonacci, just to be able to have this kind of level that I have here, something like this. You see it, yeah, it's fuller, has a lot more levels. You know, we have the minus 127, you have the minus 27, really key level. I think I posted something about where the levels get to when it gets to 50, where the TP is at when it gets to 61. I think I posted something like that on the chat sometime. But yeah, how you added it, I think Adrian was going to ask the question earlier. So what was your question again? Mm-hmm. It's really what it is. They're all target places. Now, I know that people, they have this rule that if it gets to 23, 38, 50, then your TP would be around the 127 or thereabout. That if it goes beyond that, I think 127 or 161. If it gets to 78, might be, there are rules like that, but I don't really believe in them, because I know that it doesn't happen like that every time. So, but what I tend to do, I may have those levels as my TP, as target, but I wouldn't expect price to always get there. So I would take profit part way. Like for instance, let me look for a good one that obeys the law of Fibonacci now. Okay, let me use this one. So let's assume I saw this coming, okay, this has not given. So I saw this coming. This is my pullback. I mean, this is where my pullback went to. Let me take this out of the way. Excuse me. Okay. So this is where my pullback, this is where my head is, my A is, this is my B, and my C turned at this point. Now, the rule says that if it turns at this point, your TP will normally be two things they say. You can do this, draw your TP all the way from up here to where you had that turn. In this case, I would say it turned at the 23. If you would agree with me, turned at the 20. Let me not go that far, if I can control it. So it turned at the 23. So it is said that my TP would be 23 from 23. Yeah, well, that worked. It blasted it, it hit TP with a few more money to work with. Now, let me see if I start it all the way, because the other rule says that it will normally come back, go to from your 23, that's your 23, your 38, your 50, and your 61, that your TP would normally be at your 161. Yeah, that's what I heard. So I'm going to do that from here. Okay, so where did it get to? That's A, B. My C was at, I'm going to delete this so I don't have too many Fib levels. So, yep, my C was at the 50. Yeah, so now I would expect my TP to be at the 161. Let's see if it got there. Nope. It didn't get there. It didn't get there. This is where it turned. So that rule sometimes fail, and they say that once it turns at the 78, the 88, I know I don't have 88 here, 78, 88, that your TP will normally be 127. Some rules like that, that's some of the rules that I learned, but it doesn't work every time. Rather, what I tend to do is to take profits. Number one, I make sure that I have it confluencing with every other, one or two other strategy. Either using my market structure. I always use market structure to confirm a whole lot of things, so I don't work independent of the Fibonacci. I must always make sure that maybe the 27 or the minus 127, 168 or whatever agrees with the structure level. there's a confluence with that, with it, you know, or I could use flag or whatever other strategy. So the trick is not to depend on one strategy. The trick is to use multiple strategies, number one, and also to manage your positions properly. Now, if you started out in the market, it came down. By the time it did this pullback, you've entered another position. By the time it did this pullback, you probably took another position. By the time it did this pullback, it took another position. Mind you, you can also, as it comes here, take that profit from the previous position and then let the second one run, and then take the very first profit. It's just a way of managing your money, so you don't have too many things out in the market, or you don't give back what you've made. Like this turn back came back very well back to the 50%. This would have kicked you out if you had a trailing stop loss in the market. But then if you stayed in, it came down so well. So I put my position here, I put my position here, I put my position here. So I'm just following the market. I can keep moving my stop loss in place as they move. I am saying that it's probably going to get to the minus 27 or minus 161, but that's just what's it called? My projection. Doesn't mean I'm going to let the market run that long. Remember, we are looking for 3% daily profit. And if we are not really looking for 3%, we're also looking at saying if we can just get 10 pips out of the market. Not the maximum profit, either 3% or 10 pips, whichever one, comes first. That's just always the goal. And also to ensure that we don't lose in every trade that we enter into. Every win is a win. So, yep, maximum profit 161, 127. Yeah, it may work sometimes, but not all of the time. But what we know that we would always get out in the market is maybe 3%. Maybe 5 pips, maybe 10 pips, small profit like that, from the market. Or we can do incremental, let profits run, and then increase positions as they go on. That way we're compounding, and we're always assured that we're going to get out of that market uninjured, So yeah, so that's number one. Looking at it, let me see if I can. Okay, I was actually on the weekly time frame. Okay, let's see. So, oh wow, where did this come from? Jesus is Lord. That's 3,685. Are we sure this wasn't recently? Oh, wow. That's on the H4. What happened? What year was this? Oh, 2015. Could it be when Brexit happened? Probably. Well, Brexit, it's just a term that we give to ourselves just to tell us that we don't want to tell the world that we don't want to be part of the European Union anymore. Because there's, the European Union is comprising of countries in Europe, maybe like Germany, Italy, Sweden, I guess, and all of those countries, they come together to form a European Union. So everything is controlled by the European Union, their government, the police, the trade. We have all of that. So if you are from London or England, you can easily go to Italy without the need for a visa. And you can even trade there without any kind of restrictions. So now, but you get to pay certain fees to be part of that union. So it means you don't make your own rules. Every rule has to go through European Union and all of that. So in England, we wanted to UK, we wanted to get out of that, kind of like an independence. If you look at it from another perspective, we wanted to break out of that union. We wanted to stand on our own. Wanted to be able to do things for ourselves, make our own rules, decide who comes into our country and who doesn't come into our country. So when that initiative, I will call it, or that political journey started, I think that was when this happened. That everything that happens in the markets politically affects the markets. So that's probably when this happened. And now the market is trying to build itself back. It actually did build itself back. Yeah. So it's in the UK. It's UK based. It's a European based. It's just like I don't know which country. I don't know. I don't think you guys in the US have any union that you belong to. Do you have any union? I think you do have a union that you belong to. I think NATO. I don't know if it's called NATO or something. Yeah. So a body controls a number of states in America or in Europe or in Asia or in Africa. I think in Africa it's called the United Nations. Yep, the United Nations. Yeah, I think so. I don't know, but anyway, that's by the way. So that's how you do that. So now to be able to add the levels, let me just draw it so you can see what it looks like. So this is it. Okay, let me bring that closer. Okay, can you see my screen? So this is your level. Okay, so what we want to do is let me see what we need. I wish I can just take up all the charts. Okay. So we go to a few properties. After we drew out the Fib, go to a few properties. Already, I know you might have the 0.0, you might have the 23, the 38, 50, 61, 88, and all of that. So you want to add more levels. So just go on here and then add. Okay. So you add. When you click on add, this is what you get. Yep. So are you doing it now, or do you want me to just show you? Okay. So when you click on add, so the first one you want to do, just look at it now. I have 23, I have 38, I have 50, 61. Oh, okay. Instead of doing that, no need. Let me just tell you the things that you need to do. So under your level, what you need to add, starting from the top here, you want to have 0 for your level, 0.0 for your description, 0.236 for your level, 23.6 for your description. I know you already have this one, so let me just go down to 0.38 and 38.2. So for 100, you have 1 to 100. For 161, that's the one I don't think you have, but so that will be 1.618 under level and 161.8 under description. Yeah, 161.8 under description. Then under level you have 2.618 and then 261.8 under description. 2.618, 1.8 under description. There is 4.236. That's a long one. Yeah, but most times we don't even go that far. But what is part of it? 4.236 and then description 423.6. Then you have 0.786, then 78.6. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So the negative side now, we have the 0.2 minus, very important, minus 0.27, then description minus 27.1.0, sorry, very, very important, minus 0.27 minus 27 points. So, but now for that 27 is kind of like a key one for me, you know. So when the mark, I'm always looking to take profit at minus 27. You know, if it's on a down, what move, or 127 if it's on a upward move, because that if it turns at the maybe 23, 38, 38, 50, 61. That's my first TP. Always look at that level for my first TP, and I try to see if it coincides with a structure, you know, as well. So minus 27 is the key level, short-term profit level, if you will. So you want to put that into consideration as well. So for the next one is 0.414 for level, minus 0.414. Then description minus 41.4. Minus 41.4. The next one is minus 0.618 for the level. Then description minus 61.8. Minus 61.8. Few more. You have then 1.27 for level. Then 127.0 for description, as this one's on up here. 0. Then you have the next one, 1.414 for level, then 141.4 description. So you see the way it works, 1.4, then 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, and then description. The next one is minus 1.414 the level, and 141.4 description. The next one is minus 1.27 level and minus 127 description. So the last one is minus 1.618 level and minus 161.8 description. So now, like I said again, just use them, test them out. Now, I would like to see when you have I want to believe that when you have a reversal happening in a place in the market, that is when most of these large numbers will come in play. Because if the market has already been, started moving, probably you're in the middle of the market, you can expect the market to, the chances of that market going to the minus 127 or minus 168, 161 is really slim. You know, but when it's starting from a reversal point, probably after you've seen your double tops, either your double tops or your head and shoulders, you know, or your triple tops, then if you find your Fibonacci from there, then you can, that's a higher probability, gives you a higher probability that that market is going to get to minus 127 or 1, because that's the beginning of a reversal, you know. As the beginning of a reversal, I would want to look at taking final target to 127 or minus 127 or 161 from a reversal point, you know, not from the middle. You know, from the middle, I'm trying to see how I can take intermittent profits, you know, just draw either the rectangle like I did before, or just look at the minus 27 as my TP levels. But again, I don't just depend on Fibonacci on its own as a tool. You know, I add other ones that I really trust. No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Oh, okay. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be considered confluence. Yeah, yeah. It's really pretty much how or when two or three things align, then that increases the probability of that trade being a valid one. Because well, let me not say that it will always win, even at confluence. Because even at confluence, it still fails. UJ failed me a number of times. Even when I saw I saw confluences. But then it's better than just assuming, trying to use just one strategy to get it. Just for instance, take your entry strategy. You always want to confirm that before you enter a particular trade, that trade that you're entering is definitely going to give you that win. And how can you increase that chance is to look at candles. Can you draw a flag there to confirm that there's a breakout? Is it on the support level or resistance level? Is it does your Fibonacci coincide, or if you use RSI, is it oversold, overbought? If you use divergence as well, just as many as you can. But that it doesn't mean you need to use all of this. 2 or 3 may be good enough. Yeah, sometimes even 1 is okay, but we tend to want to confirm our entries, confirm that our position that we want to take is definitely going to be a win. The higher your confirmation, the more you can give yourself what's it called now? You can be at rest, give yourself peace of mind. It gives you peace of mind that it's fine to let the trade run. I'm sure it's going to get to its TP. So it's just for the extra confirmation. We all need to have that before we take a trade. So let me see this one now. Let's see for this one now. Let me see this move. So if I was to take this move, oops, too long. Okay, let me delete that and try again. Because this was as a reversal point. Let's see this. Oh. Okay, so if I take my Fib from here, and I saw this, see what happened? See confluence. It turned at the 50. See, and then it's in confluence with the key level here that I drew, and then what did you see? It came down. Let's see if it got to my 160. Okay, let me see if it got to my one. Okay, well, almost not. Almost, it still has room to come down because as you can see, it's doing a pullback. So I've hit my first, and see my 127 is also close to a key level as well. You see, it's close to a key level because if you look left, you can see the move. It's begun to have some reaction at this point. Yep, and it's going back to test that level to come down more. So I may say that this may get to, and look at this. Look at my 161. It's another level. So I may be bent to believe that this would definitely come down to this level. So it's just that extra confirmation that this gives to you. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to win every time, but the more the merrier. Yeah, better to just have it. Yeah, true. Yeah, but before that, you saw a lot of consolidation going on, right? The market delayed. I'm pretty sure your husband you were making fun of him when he was trying to stay and believe that this is going to happen, Yeah, so because you see, it delayed, it consolidated, it just ranged, it did all it wanted to, but in the end, it dropped out and it was a massive win. So yeah, so that's just it. That's just it. Important. I love confluences. And like now we're all learning, what's it called? Now we're learning the candlestick pattern, which is also something we'll have to add on. Like look at this move. This was a good one. That's a shooting star. Is that a shooting star? Yeah, it dropped after that shooting star. There's another one here. Yeah, kind of did a pullback before finally dropping, but we can't always depend on the shooting star alone. We must also look at, is it in a key level as well? Is it a pullback or what have you? Because if we look at it, shooting star, is in a key level inside that zone? Because yeah, we look at that as well. There's a level here in the zone. If we go down to your smaller time frame, then again, we don't really do the smaller time frame except people that scalp. Because I'm not really good at scalping. I'm not really a scalp person. Not that I'm not good, yeah, because the market does what it will do, but it's better for us to do the higher time frame. But then if I do the smaller time frame, I have to constantly stay in the market to watch every move, and every fake out is gonna skip. My heart's gonna be up, gonna be worried, So yeah. So that said, do you have any pair you want us to look at before? Because we really must now before that. Sorry, hold that thought about the strategy we learned last week that I was talking to myself. Have you been able to study it? The one of the sell stop, buy stop. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So okay, we want us to go over that, right? Okay, so we'll have to go over that. Danisha, do you have anything you would like us to go over? Okay, and but on the idea of the what's it called now, confluences and what have you, it's not really a problem. Market structure. I know you tend to trade supply and demand more than the other ones, right? Mm. Mm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As you mapped it. Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah. Which is a weakness sometimes. I have that weak. Well, let me say let me not say I don't have it anymore. Sometimes because maybe after you've lost one or two trades in a day, you begin to doubt the next trade. So but the truth is this: whether or not we can't be afraid of the market. The market is going to do what it's going to do. I tell myself that if I do a chart and it goes against me, it's not because I didn't do it properly. It's not because my charting skills is not good enough, you know. Because if I sent it on the platform and we all looked at it and we all agreed that, oh well, that's a good buy or that's a good sell, and at the end of the day it went south. So it's not because we are all wrong, you know. It doesn't mean we are all wrong. It's definitely the market doing what it's doing, because the truth is this: we can't control the market. We don't have the amount of money to be able to control the market. There are people out there that are controlling the market with their money. All we're doing, we're just following. If they say it's a sell today, we're gonna try to do a sell with them. So that's why we encourage trade with the trend. If the trend is going down, let's just follow it down. If it's going up, let's just follow it. By the way, look at what's happening here to AJ. It's dropped. I believe every other um, J's are doing the same thing, I would presume. Oh yeah, they're all doing the same thing now. Yeah, all doing the same thing. All the J's. Oh, lost lost that. Okay, I would have to do that again because I lost connection. Okay, sorry guys, on join me. I would have to because the connection is lost on Zoom. So just give me a second while I resend that to everyone. So for some of you, okay, yeah, we lost connection on that one. Yeah, that happens. So I think AJ is really doing. I mean, sorry, the GPU GPY pairs are really doing good at the moment. Yeah, it's already dropped how many pips now? Yeah, not so much. 30 pips. It's not so bad. Do we have news? I think we have Japanese JPY news or yen news. Do you know? It's the same one. It tends to say China, China CHCNY. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Okay, okay, that's problem. Yeah. Mm. Okay. So you would see CNY. Do you see? I think you see JPY as well. Like, let me see if I can find some of them here. What time is it? Outside the middle. So this probably was supposed to be a false move. So they are trying to, anticipate the market, or either that, or the market movers are trying to do their thing just to get you to jump in, and then they'll catch you in the real move. So we know how we trade the news. We don't we try to do the right thing, do sell stops and anticipate it. Two ways: to sell stop and buy stop. And let me see what this is Thursday. Let me see. I'm not showing any thing now. So uh, what's that? Yep, nothing is moving. It's like so that's why when you're in the trade, if you're doing the 1 hour, the 15 minutes, you're going to have a lot of heart pain because let's say you were buying this market right now, you see this, you're gonna kill yourself, because that it seems like a massive drop, but it's really nothing. It's just about 30 pips, you know. Yep, it's about 36 pips because of yeah. Mhm. Yeah, it turns back. It goes back. Yeah, it does that a lot. It does that a lot. As long as you have your stop loss in place, there's no reason to be worried. Just let it do its thing. You know. So yeah. So we're trying to explain your supply and demand. If that's what you use and that really works for you, by all means, So by the way, supply and demand for Adrian, you know how we find it. It's just the large candles, and you tend to see these large candles more on the higher time frame. I the lower time frame, yeah, you can find them there, but I like to look at them more on the higher time frame. But once I see something like this, if I see something like this happen, I know that this is a demand zone. Because see that giant move, because this was a giant move as well. So it was a move, but this was a correction. So you had that move to the upside. So we are waiting for this market to come back and correct itself. It's probably going to come back to this level. That's the way it does. That's the way the market moves. And if you look at that, that move would also be within a structure level. Because if you go to the left, you see that it was at the key supply zone. So your demand zone is from up to down to up. Your supply is from up to down. So you see that. So if you trace it back, it goes back to a supply zone. Now look at that move. That move went up, and then what did you see? Came back all the way down, to that zone. So this has done this. I'm sure this market is still going to come back down to this zone, but for now it's still up there. So that's a key structure, key demand zone for this guy. So it's probably going to come back and test it, or maybe come somewhere around here as well. So it does that for if you want to put demand and supply as part of your trading plan as well, trading strategy. It also works on this as well. See that drop here? You see that correction? Yep. You see that drop, and now you see that correction. Okay, that's a correction. So I'm pretty sure this is going to drop back to this place, and then you keep seeing that. Or if it doesn't go back up, it's probably going to come down to that zone. So if you're a demand and supply trader, it's absolutely fine. But what you can also do, just to ensure that you have accuracy, is to add it to probably your support and resistance, and then your market structure as well. Add that into your structure, add structure to that as well. And if you want to learn Fibonacci, that's also part of it. If not, then you can add your candles into it. I have that candle thing on the in our library. If we know a lot of candles, I know there are too many to learn. There are too many to learn, way too many to learn. But we can take them one after the other, learn them little by little, and then fine. So without wasting much time, I'm just going to show you just real quick how we do that sell stop and buy stop thing. Let me delete this. By the way, use your backspace to delete everything on your charts if you want to. No matter the number of things you draw, use backspace to delete them. Yeah. So let's say I did that and I did all of this. So it will delete them one after the other. So if I click that, it's going to delete them in the order of how I drew them. It's going to do that. Start deleting them. So it's just a trick that I learned too. So now we know what trade that we're doing. It's all only GBP trades. We don't trade any other pair, only GBP pairs, JPY, Chef, NZD, and the rest of them, and we know that we always look at the 8 a.m. candle. 8 a.m. candle, meaning that it is not your 8 a.m. because 8 a.m. is my time frame, because I'm in the UK, and the UK time opens 8 a.m. The UK market opens 8 a.m. So you need to find out what that time is in your own time frame. You also need to find out what that time is on your broker platform, your MT4. For me, I'm using the Turnkey FX. We're just they are an hour ahead of us. So if I was going to trade this, if I was trading this today, let's say today was should be on the 1 hour time frame. I have to locate what my 8 a.m. would be. My 8 a.m. would be this candle right here, 9 a.m. candle. It's 9 a.m. on this this, what's it called now? This MT4, but this is actually, it's 8 a.m. on my own time frame. I think it would be like 4 a.m. at your end. 4 a.m. Let me see. Let me check it for you. So should be 4 a.m. Let me see now. April 5. 8 a.m. was okay. 8 a.m. was. Are you CST or EST? Okay, should be 2 a.m. Yep, 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. is the candle that you want to start trading on. Let's see. Let me bring that up. Okay, so this is now. How do you find it? What you have to wait till 9 o'clock. Oh, sorry, have to wait till 3 o'clock before you start trading. Your 3 o'clock will be this candle. So this is your 3 o'clock candle. Then this candle is where you want to start trading what to use as your reference point for your trade. Very important. You identify your support and resistance for your 2 a.m. candle. Support and resistance for your 2 a.m. candle. It's 9 o'clock. Sorry, it's 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. in the morning, but you're drawing your lines on your 2 a.m. candle, which is that one. And like, remember what I said, it's dependent on the broker that you're using. Some brokers are 4 hours ahead of your time frame. So you need to just know what time frame that 2 a.m. would be on your broker time frame on your MT4. So that's my resistance, and that's my support. So the trick is to always do 10 pips above and 10 pips below for my entry. Sell stop 10 pips below, buy stop 10 pips above. That's just it. That's just the ground. And how do you find that? Your 2, that's your 2 here, your crosshair 2. You identify your 10 pips, 10 pips from here. He has to cross, he has to align. 10 pips would be, okay, I'm going to do 99, 9.9. That's 150.27 would be my 10 pips. Yep. So 10, if you find the entry price, you put that down. Now, we used to do 10 pips for TP, 10 to 20 pips for TP, but these days I encourage people to do 5 to 8 pips. Don't need to stay in the market for so long. So if we were going to take this trade, that was a massive win for us, right? Because it actually came down more than how many? Let me see, from when it opened, it came down 41 pips. Yeah, 42 pips. It didn't have any drawdown at all. It didn't have any drawdown. Yes, the whole candle, including the wick, is where you find your support and resistance from. Yep, the whole candle, including the wick. Yeah, are you guys seeing this? Look at this. I'm just talking about the move. Okay, it's just 40 pips, not so much. Okay, so now 10 pips below, 10 pips above, then you take your profit 5 pips or 8 pips, or if you want to stay longer, then 10 pips. And now 10 pips from your entry, 10 pips from your entry. So you do that for GBP, JPY. You could do that for all of the GBP pairs, for GU, GCAD, GN, GCHEF, all of them. You could do that for all of the pairs, or you can just do that, have 5 different positions open for GBP, JPY, and have 5 different positions open for GJ if you are sure that that is going to give you your winning. Some people do that, So you've done that for that. I'm going to check GU if I find something. I think my chart is going to delay because of. Okay. Oh, are we? Okay. So another opportunity to jump in, right? But then, let me see. Okay, I think I must have entered here too early. Okay, now I wouldn't even be bothered. So let's see if you have on a 1 hour. Okay, that's a good opportunity. If this stops moving, this is gonna be a massive win now, wouldn't it? Yes. Now, if there's now if you're in a massive losing position, you don't increase positions on losses. You increase positions on profit. But if you're in the negative, more, because now I know that it's more beneficial. I mean, you could win more If it goes against you and it comes back, then you put in another position. Then it could reduce your. But the trouble with that is you're not sure that is going to happen. You're not sure it's going to happen. So I tend to go put in more positions in a winning position, not a losing position. Like now, this is going against me. This is going against me. Yep. Yeah. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I may not open another position. I may have to because I really don't have any reason to rush the market. I'm in 0.01. I just let it come back to put me in the trade before I can open another position because what can happen? It could go there, and then news comes, or anything comes, and then it goes back, keeps coming back down, and then I have two losing positions. You know, I know it will be beneficial for me. I'll win more, but I'd rather not risk it. You know, I'd rather not risk it. Yeah, get back in the trade. Then you can have the confidence to add in more because if you add in more positions and it goes negative even more, then you're going to start prosperating. You start praying and speaking in tongues, and you know, and Jesus is going to say, "Don't even involve me. I didn't send you. Should have listened to Michael." You know, so yeah, let it come back into profit. I won't touch this. I'll let it come. You know, it comes back into profit, and I'm good. Yep. Okay, so back to the trade. Yeah, this is it's just really what it is. Locate your 2 a.m. candle, put your support or resistance on it, 10 pips below, 10 pips above. Then from there you can find your either 5 pips or if you want to go for 10 pips. And test it over 1 week and see how much you make. But what I can suggest you do as you're trading now, probably start with 0.01 just to test it. If you don't want to do demo, if you just want to see it live, test it for 1 week and see what it does, you know. And again, your stop loss, how do you find your stop loss? Your stop loss, you need to ensure that that 2 a.m. candle is lower than, it's not up to 50 pips. I try not to look for if it's more than 30 pips. I won't take the full thing because I'm really looking for 5 to 10 pips. So I wouldn't let my stop loss be 50, 60 pips. You know, so if you measure the candle, the 2 a.m. candle, and it's under 50 pips, like this is only 18 pips, it's absolutely fine. I could do my stop loss on either side. For stop loss, if you're doing your sell stop, your stop loss would be your resistance. If you're doing your resistance, what I mean by resistance, meaning that's the number of your resistance, the number on your resistance line. For this one, I think it's for this one is 150,561. That's this number here, this line here, 561. So that's because I'm doing a sell stop. If I was doing a buy stop, which is above, my stop loss would be this number below here. That's my support number, which is 150,373. And based on the fact that this candle is only about 20 pips apart. So that means that, you know what that means? That means your stop loss is 20 pips. If this market gets triggered and it goes against you, you're just going to lose 20 pips. That's what it means. That's why I say you must make sure it's within that 30 pips, 20 pips. Don't let it go beyond 50 pips. 50 pips, you have to divide it into 2. And how do you do it? For instance, if this was, let me see this candle. If this was my trade, let me see how many pips this is. Okay, this is too much for me. This is almost 50 pips. Yep. If this was my 2 a.m. candle, where would my stop loss be? If I had my entry, my buy stop here, and I had my sell stop here, I had my sell stop here. So my stop loss would be in the middle. I'll have to find out what's the difference. Probably if this was, let me see. This is okay. Let's just say this is 50. So I would have my stop loss would be 25 pips. from that place. So if my buy stop loss would be the difference between that here, 25, be that probably push it a bit up. So to be about 149840. 149840 will be my stop loss for my sell buy stop, and the same number will be my stop loss for my sell stop. The same number will be the stop loss of my sell stop. Let's say I have my stop buy stop up here. I can find out what my stop loss would be. I measure it from here, look for 25 pips. That is probably this number, 149840. That would be my stop loss. If I have 149840, if I have my sell stop here, I don't need to measure again. I just need to pick that number. 149840 will be my stop loss for both sell stop and buy stop. Why? Because my candle is greater than 30. It's at least 50. It's too much, because that means if it turns against me, I'll be losing 50 pips. But now, if it turns against me, all I'll be losing is 25 pips. That's what that means. So just to manage the market, because all I'm looking for is 5 to 10 pips. So I don't. Why would I have a risk of 50 pips? It's too much, you know. So that's just that. Just a little tip on that. How to manage your stop loss using doing your the MBOS London. Any questions? Yeah. Yep. Yep. So you try that. You do that for the whole of that week, and let's see if you can. Well, it's going to be a lot of work to wake up every 2 a.m. to try it. You just try it and see what happens for the whole of that week, how much you make. So just go for 5 to 8 pips TP, 5 to 8 pips TP, and then see how the outcome of that over 1 week. See how many winnings and how many losses. Then if you're comfortable with what you see, you can test it again for the next week. Probably increase your loss size, probably 0.02, and see how it goes. And then from there, take it from there. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to send this recording if you really need to see it, but for the benefit of those that are not here, just they can probably add that Fib level to the Fibs as well. And then if I can take a session before next week, I'll take one session so that we can look at the different charts for the week, what we've seen this week and what we can expect next week to be. We can all just rub minds and see how it goes. Yep. Yeah. So like this would have been a bad trade. Look at what happened. It came out, broke. I would have waited for it to come back and test and then drop. And what did it do? It went south, or it went north instead of coming down. So that's one time that structure doesn't help, you know. Yeah. Yep. See, because I would have said, okay, fantastic. It's breaking and it's going to the. But to be fair, if you look at this, it actually got to the zone. It got back here. Now, if I wanted to break my own rules, it was to go to the smaller time frames to see what kind of happened. But if you go to the smaller time frame, what do you see? You see that it broke out, did kind of like a retest sort of, but this wasn't. I wouldn't call this a good retest because it came back into the charts. This doesn't obey my rules. You know, got back into the chart. It broke out quite all right, went back up, came out, broke out again. If I was not following my rules, I would have entered this and then just immediately broke out of this chart. I would have just entered. But to follow my rule judiciously would mean to watch it, let it break out, come back and retest, and then trade it down. Or do an early entry into the market, which is more risky than waiting for a retest, is to wait for that breakout, number one, and then close above, or close above or close below, whichever one you're trading. If you're trading your sell, then close below, then you enter on the next candle, and then you write it down. So you can take small profit, maybe 10, 20 pips, or because sometimes you may not always get to this next level before turning back. Sometimes we'll have turned back at this level. So we were just fortunate. If you were in this trade, it would have turned back at this level. So once it breaks out, you go in, you take 10 or 20 pips. This one was 16 pips, and then you get out. Because it may turn back, but this didn't turn back. This all came all the way to the next zone. But if I was a breakout trader, I would just wait for this to come back and retest. Then I would have entered. But then again, I wouldn't have really lost it that much. Why? Because I would have had my stop loss somewhere here, the previous low. Which was my previous low? Okay, maybe this would have been my stop loss because that was my previous high. Sorry, then it would have come there, hit my stop loss. Would have lost it. How much? Let me see. 25 pips, not so bad. Yep. So because the trick is this, I enter at this point, I enter with 0.01, and I'm waiting for it to come down to the next level so I can enter the next position. Then I wait for it to come to the next level so I can enter another position. So I build. The trick is to build. Just build. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket, because we don't trust the market. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always wait for a pullback. Always wait for a pullback. Now, it may retest. I showed you two strategies now. It may retest. Yep, it may do that retest, and then you can enter another position. Or you can wait to see a break of that zone, and then you enter on the next candle. But that's an aggressive entry. It's more aggressive. It breaks it, it closes below, candle finishes. Then on the next candle, you can enter your next position. But that's aggressive. It's quite risky. Or you can wait for that pullback to happen. But then another thing is this: the pullback may happen. It may not happen. It may just be one candle. Before you know it, it drops another giant move. Does this? So it could happen like that sometimes. But then you don't want to chase the market. The market won't give you everything give you what you want every time. So even though you lose the chance to get in again, wait for another opportunity. So it's better to take one pound or $1 out of the market than to lose 20 of it. Yeah. Yep. So break, close below, I enter the next one. Or a more conservative trading is to wait for it to come back, retest, then I enter on that. Or wait for it to do a pullback, then I use my flag. Remember the flag? I do my flag. I do my what is it now? Yep, my trend lines. Then I wait for that breakout. The same strategy that I used there, a breakout, and on the next candle, enter on the next candle and write it down. Or use the candlestick formation. Look for either a tweezer top or something, or look for what's it called now? A hammer or a shooting star, whatever it is that you're looking for, combination you're looking for. Yeah. All right. Any more questions? Danisha, do you have any questions? Okay. So, but on the platform is still open. Whatever trade you're looking at, whatever ones you want us to look at, we're trading together. We're doing this together. Just send it on there, and then we can look at it for you. Yep. And we're good. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye.